Thank you. I am back in a big way. I have just so many games I have to cover, so let's just get into it. What is up, everybody? Welcome back to Recaps from Chirpin DMV. My name is Ben, your source for all things Washington Capitals hockey. Now, this is a long time coming, this one. So, started taking notes for this one back on April 9th. I am recording this on April the 25th. So yeah, it's almost like three weeks of games. So we're just gonna combine them all into one. We're gonna rush through a lot of them. So let's rapid fire this part. So I said huge games upcoming, back-to-back Boston-Pittsburgh. Boom, back-to-back wins. 6-3 over Pittsburgh. Next day, 4-2 win over Boston. How are you? That's a great back-to-back set of games right there, especially when they were competing for a playoff spot. Then they went into Philly and just trashed them 9-2. I wish I could go through all that, but that game was so long ago now, there's just no point. Plus, they went to Toronto the next game and got spanked 7-3, so... And then they went into Montreal after that and won 8-4, so this was a pretty insane week of hockey for the team. I think that goes without saying. Then after that, a massive win versus Colorado. Obviously, they were missing Kadri and Landeskog and stuff, but still went into Colorado, got the W against arguably the best team in hockey. And then we'll start from here. We'll pick up right here the Vegas game. So the Vegas game, we got Samsonov in net. He had been playing some pretty good hockey up until this point. Obviously, no goalie has looked phenomenal at any point this season, but he looked decent, so he got the start here. Early in the game, Ovi had 48 goals going in. I thought he got his 49th right away, but no. It was exactly like the Lars Eller Cup final, Game 5 goal, Cup winner. You probably remember it. It was in the same building. And Kuzi's waiting just behind the goal. He slides it in for the first goal of the game. Ovi gets the primary assist, of course, but still not his 49th goal. But then Vegas responds on just a floater from the point that goes 5-hole. Just a really ugly goal to let up. It was like the puck didn't even hit the net like first, like, you know what I mean? Like it bounced off the ice and then went in. Samsonov, man, like you just gotta have that. I don't care if it's bouncing or if there was a screen, you gotta have that, and he didn't. So it's a 1-1 game. Then it looks like John Carlson scores, but it's taken back because it was offside. And I swear to God, every time Carlson scores a goal and I tweet about how awesome John Carlson is right after, it gets challenged and taken back. Every time. It's happened at least 2 or 3 times this year, which is like one too many, obviously. Then it was weird. Robin Leonard got pulled to start the second, but like, it was a tied game. He wasn't playing that bad. He wasn't hurt. Coach just made the decision to pull him. Obviously, we know now that he's having like season-ending surgery, but there's been a lot of weird drama with Vegas. They're probably going to miss the playoffs anyways, so screw that team. Then early in the second, the Caps kill off a power play by Vegas. Kuzi and Ovi go the other way. Kuzi cross ice to Ovi, just bombs it in. He's got his 49th this time. Kuzi made it up to him. This goal kind of reminded me of the Game 7 Tampa Bay goal that Ovi scored like a minute in. That one was obviously more of a slap shot. This one was more of a snapshot, but still similar plays. Ovi's got his 49th and the Caps have a 2-1 lead. Also, Ovi scoring this goal was the most goals scored by someone 35 or older, I think it is. The record was 48 with Teemu Selanne. This was his 49th, so he holds the record now. Then 2 minutes into the third, what people would argue is a critical moment of the game, the beginning and ending of a period. That's where momentum is gained or lost. Vegas just shoots it right through Samsonov again. This is one that he could have saved again, and he didn't. He's just driving the point home that he is not ready. And I know Samsonov, we're going to get rid of him, and he's going to win a Vezina in 2 years. I know that's going to happen, but he's just not ready right now. And unfortunately, the way I view it is the poor guy. I know he's like 25 or 26 already, but I feel like he just got thrown into the starter's role too early, honestly, because he's not ready to be the starter. But then he had to try and be the starter because I got rid of Holtby, so it was up to him and Vanacek to figure it out. They haven't yet. Here I am insulting Sammy, but he does make a massive save, which is then followed up by a Chandler Stevenson goal. You hate to see it, but you love to see it. You hate to see the Caps get scored on. Chandler's my boy, so you take the goods with the bads. So the Golden Knights have the lead, but then Dmitry Orlov gets a rolling puck in the neutral zone. He looks up ice and sees someone skating down the wing, sauces it over his stick. Underrated pass here because the puck was rolling and he still had to get it over his stick. Right onto Ovi's tape. Ovi just comes in, lets go a classic bomb that he needs to take more of because those can just go through goalies like it does here. Ovi scores his 50th on Logan Thompson of the Vegas Golden Knights, so adds a new goalie to his list. Ovi, 9 9 50-goal seasons. That's tied for the most ever with Wayne Gretzky and Mike Bossy. That's insane, because there's been so many years. I look back to the first COVID year especially, where he had like 48 goals in 60 something games or whatever, maybe 70. So it was like, oh yeah, he's gonna get 50 again, he's gonna tie their record, and then the season shut down so he couldn't. And then you start to think like, man, he's already like what, 34 at the time or whatever. It's like he might not get another 50 goal season, and then here he gets a 50 goal, 90 plus point season, just out of nowhere. So congrats to Ovi, small claps for that. Love seeing it, hope to see him keep scoring more this season. As we all know, that might be difficult. I'll get to that in the Leafs game. So Ovi ties the game, it goes to overtime. Capitals are not good in overtime, that's been addressed. And Shea Theodore undresses the team. Like, TJ Oshie just got fooled out there. He got completely bamboozled, flat-footed. Shea Theodore goes right around him, backhand, shelf. Unreal goal. Vegas wins it in overtime, but still just an unreal road trip from Washington here. Vegas is playing desperate hockey. I believe Washington had already clinched at this point, so Vegas was still trying to make playoffs. So that was, I can accept an overtime loss there, especially they had to come from behind to tie the game. So the weakest part of this game was Samsonov, and it wasn't particularly close. Then you got the Arizona game next. There's not much to talk about in this one. For some reason, their Arizona games have not been the stat nights you'd want them to be. They are the polar opposite. So Vitek was thrown in the net for this one. Capitals score first. I honestly don't even know. I'm gonna have to look. I don't even know who scored because the goal was so weird. Okay, they credited Connor Sherry. See, I thought it was Backstrom off an Arizona stick, but no, just like a loose puck in front. It gets wrapped around. Connor Sherry taps it in to give him a 1-0 lead. That would last the entire game until John Carlson scored an empty netter. Actually, that's not true. Garnet Hathaway scored, but it got taken back because it was a high stick. And Tom Wilson murdered Barrett Hayton, sent him to the moon. But the only other goal scored was John Carlson's empty netter, but it was his 16th, which is a new career high. And he's at 70 points again, by the way, guys. So yeah, he's our number one defenseman, and you should be goddamn happy about it. 70 points again. He was having like an off year to start too, so. Anyways, Capitals win that one 2-0, and then they play Toronto for the last time. So in the last Toronto game, obviously I just brushed over it, so they got spanked, but Tom Wilson also had the run-in with Jack Campbell that people were mad about for no reason. And then he also beat the piss out of Kyle Clifford. So there's always heat when the Capitals and the Leafs play, which is kind of random, but there is. And it's just so annoying because I live in the area where all the Leafs fans are, and they just... For a team that has accomplished nothing, they really run their mouths a lot. Like the fan base as a whole, not just the people I know. Like they're not assholes or anything like that. But like on Twitter and stuff, you see them like running their mouths about Tom Wilson and everything. And like chirping like they have accomplished a single thing. Like Matthews almost has 60 goals. That's awesome. Ovi's got 65 before, so no one wearing red here is going to be blown away. We've seen it before. Oh, what, you got Mitchie. He's your $11 million player that's going to get maybe 100 points. He's your big playmaker. Backstrom has done that before. He's gotten 100 points and he made way less money when he did it. Not just because of the time he signed the contract, like against the cap, it was lower. So I don't get, like, you want to be excited about your team. Yes, they're better than Washington this year. Washington is on, like, they're on the back nine of this, like, successful window they have here. Toronto is, like, they're in their prime. They should be winning. So I don't understand Leafs fans having anything to say to anybody. Congrats on winning a regular season game against someone not in your division. That's awesome. What a prize, eh? Anyways, let's get into this one. Vitek was in net and the Capitals got it started early. TJ Oshie just snipes this puck. He just, loose puck squirts out from a battle on the boards. He just has a perfect lane of the net and he snipes it over Shalgren with a K. It's so weird. The goalie's last name starts with a K. It's pronounced Shalgren. That's not how it's spelled. Anyways, he absolutely rips it. It's 1-0 Washington. And actually, the entire play is pretty much all Washington, or hashtag all caps. Toronto gets one good shift of possession down in Washington zone. Their D, Ilya Lyubushkin, who scored his first goal this season on Washington last game, scores again this game. He shoots it. It goes off Justin Schultz's pants. Like, that's awesome. That is the bounce that they needed. Then in the second period, the Leafs get a power play, and Jason Spezza, taking a page out of Oshie's book here, absolutely snipes it, but gets called back because it was offside. The new rookie, Nickabruzzi, or whatever his name is, he was offside, so the goal gets waved off. I'm like, cool, I'll take that. Until the Capitals get a power play. Ovi's kind of backing up, running out of options. He just whips it on net low because he sees Oshie in front. Oshie, perfect deflection. Oshie's got 2 in this game, but then the Leafs bench starts talking. It's like, oh God, they were offside. Not offside. Goal interference? No, not goal interference. What was it, Ben? Glad you asked. It was a John Carlson hand pass 30 seconds before the goal was scored, when he just had like his arm on the glass and like the puck like hit it. Like he was like obviously like trying to keep it in. I don't want to sound hypocritical because I'm actually one of the rare breeds that's okay with the offside reviews. I like getting the rules right and everything. But offsides to me are so different from a hand pass like to the guy who scores. That's one thing. Like that San Jose one where like the guy handed it down to himself and then passed it over or whatever it was, or hand passed it over. Yeah, I can see that being an issue. This one, it's like the refs missed it. The play went around for a while. It's like, I don't think hand pass should be the same as offside. Like that's entering the zone. That's a whole different thing than like, I don't know. I could just be completely biased here. I haven't overly thought about it too much, but it just blows my mind, and it blew my mind when I saw it that was why the goal was taken back. I just don't think that should be the reason the goal was taken back unless it happens like immediately before the goal, and this one didn't, but doesn't count. So that's 2 goals in the second period, 1 for each team, both washed. Then early in the third, Ovi intercepts a pass. He goes in on a breakaway, fumbles the puck, goes on the backhand, and then right when he does, he fans on the puck. And then Källgren with a K, his stick gets caught in Ovi's skates. Ovi falls hard, like isn't really able to catch himself, and then hits the boards. Didn't hit the boards that hard, but he was in a pretty vulnerable position. He looked like he was in a pretty considerable amount of pain, and he left the game and did not return, and it now is listed as day-to-day. This is obviously devastating, A, because he's our best player, B, because you want to keep seeing him score and climb records and stuff, not saying that he even would have probably played in like the last couple of games because they're already clinched, but this was just really tough to see this close to playoffs too, because obviously health is everything in the playoffs, and losing your best player, especially, and like obviously they wanted to win this game because Pittsburgh had lost this day and Boston was winning, so they could have climbed the standings a little bit or at least kept up with Pittsburgh. They still can catch them. They have a game in hand, but these 2 points would have been nice. Anyways, Ovi is out. Don't know when he'll be back. He's day-to-day, like I said. But the boys kept it going. Eller scores on a sick pass from Marty Party. Just finds Eller wide open in front, who's able to deflect it in. The Tiger gets on the board, keeps his hot play alive. I don't think him and Mantha should ever be split up again. These two are just clicking like you wouldn't believe. And then right after Mojo, Marcus Johansson gets fed a pass from Connor Sherry. Nice saucer pass through 2 D-men. Cuts in front and just slides it backhand right where he came from. I didn't even think there was an angle there, but Mojo knows best, and that puck goes in. Capitals have the 3-1 lead. I was wanting to text my Leafs friends and like start unloading, but I held off because I'm like, this isn't a safe lead at all. Not only is it the worst lead in hockey, it's Washington who blows leads. And then it happens. There's 7:24 left in the game, and Ilya Mikheyev does a lap of the ice and then decides, oh, there's a whole bunch of open ice and no one's contesting me, so he goes right around again, shoots it 5-hole on VTech, and now it's a 1-goal game. Then, with under a minute left, the Leafs have their goalie pulled. Matthews shoots it. It goes, takes an insane bounce off the backboards. Players aren't knowing where it's going, obviously, and then the Leafs just flick it in front, and it just gets batted in when VTech's trying to get over to his post. Tie game, under a minute left, and it's just like such a bullshit game because Washington dominated the entire game except for this last like 5-minute stretch where the Leafs were desperate. The Leafs get a goal off someone's pants and then a bounce off the backboards, and Washington just couldn't beat Källgren with a K. And so this one goes to overtime. VTech makes a massive save on Mitch Marner on a 2-on-1. Cannot forget that save. That was big, and it turns right into a 2-on-1 for Washington that gets broken up because Willie Nylander hops out and it's a too many men penalty. That sucked because it was going to be a clean 2-on-1. So that's awesome that's how that ended. And then they don't score on that power play. They go to a shootout. Kuznetsov, just this gross goal that Leafs fans and people are freaking out about, calling him like a douchebag and cocky and like look at the scoreboard and shit. He like twirls his stick, comes in, does his really slow move, undresses Källgren with a K and scores. So people want to freak out at that and make fun of him for losing. Like the guy scored. What else do you want to stop the puck too? Like I think Kuzi did fine. I don't think he was the problem there. But no one else can solve Källgren, and the Leafs score 2 in the shootout and they take the win. But yeah, Leafs fans can get all pumped about these wins because they have accomplished nothing. So congrats on sweeping the season series against the Capitals. That is might be as good as it gets for you guys. That's generally how things go. So I guess we'll see. I mean, Tampa's not an easy first round matchup. That's all I'll say. And Mitchie is not necessarily known for stepping up and being the guy when all the chips are down. I don't think the team looks to Mitch during those games. I don't know. Maybe I'm just mad because I live around all the Leafs fans. But anyways, that's it for all the games. I'm sorry I missed so many, if you even care. Maybe you don't care. Do you care? You know, we've only got like 3 or 4 left, so I should probably get those done on time. But anyways, no, the Capitals aren't playing bad at all, actually. I think they're playing pretty good. Like this Leafs game that they lost, they were dominating the entire game. Like they just couldn't score, which happens sometimes. Källgren played really good. I also don't think it's dirty what he did to Ovi. I think that was just a play that happened. It's happened to me when I play hockey, and I hope the goalie wasn't doing it on purpose, but obviously it's bad that they let the Leafs back into the game. That second goal is the one that I'm the most upset about because they let him walk around. But the first goal off his pants, third goal, insane bounce off the backboards. Yes, you gotta have that obviously, but that's not something I'm gonna beat them up on. I'm sure they're beating themselves up about it. I saw Oshie talk about how upset they were with their last like 10 minutes. But no, that was a game they deserved to win. They just didn't, and that happened. So I'm not going to be too upset with them. They've played a lot of good hockey lately. They clinched playoffs since we last talked. Ovi's got his 50th. Things are pretty good in Capitals land. I think Ovi's going to be okay. Resting him is really not a bad thing at this point in the season anyways. So stay tuned for the next one. Should be the last one of the regular season. I am going to Nashville like right at the start of playoffs, which is kind of devastating because I really love watching playoff games. So I'm going to do my best to get something out to you guys in the form of a recap. So once I figure that out, I'll let you know. But thank you so much for watching. Do we actually think the Leafs are going to win anything this year? I'll let you guys answer that. Thank you so much. Peace out.